The mother pressed her cub against her chest as the firestorm howled closer. Her mind told her this was the end, that the burning metal rain from the enemy would reduce them both to ash. She whispered a farewell, voice trembling but steady enough to sound noble. The cub whimpered, and she curled her tail around him, bracing for pain, for nothingness, for silence. Instead, there was shouting, human shouting, and the sudden jerk of strong arms pulling her from the heat. She felt herself lifted, crushed against something hard and sweaty, her fur stinging but her heart still beating. When her eyes opened again, she expected the afterlife. Instead, she stared into the chest of a human, his shirt torn open, skin damp with smoke and sweat. The cub peeked around her and chirped a single word that froze her blood. "Papa!" Her ears shot upright. "He is not," she began, but her voice cracked. The human coughed, glanced down at her, then at the cub, and smirked like he just won a bar bet. "That's fast," he said. "I save you once and suddenly I'm a father?" The cub nodded with innocent certainty. "Yes. He carried us." The mother bared her fangs, both at the human and at her own traitorous tail that had started wagging. "You are mistaken, little one. He is no such thing. He merely grabbed me without consent." The human raised both brows. "Without consent? Lady, you were on fire." The cub giggled, ears twitching. "He held Mama tight until she stopped screaming." The mother sputtered. "That is not what happened." She slapped her tail against the dirt to punctuate the denial, but the cub's laughter only grew. The human looked more amused than apologetic. "Careful," he teased. "You fall asleep in a man's arms once and suddenly we're married." Her fur bristled. "Married? Do not be absurd." "Not my idea." He shrugged, adjusting his grip so she didn't tumble. "Kid's already calling me Papa. I don't make the rules." She turned to the cub with a hissed whisper. "He is not your papa. He is a reckless, loud creature who smells of smoke and strange spices." The human grinned. "Better than smelling like wet dog." Her ears twitched flat. "Fox. Not dog." Right. Big difference. Dogs fetch sticks. You fetch attitude." The cub squealed with laughter and hugged his arm. "I like Papa." The human blinked. "Wait, what? He's sticking to it now." The mother buried her face in her hands. "Spirits take me." The human crouched and set her carefully against a broken wall. His hands moved across her shoulders, chest, ribs, checking quickly, roughly, efficiently. She flinched at each touch. You dare grope me in front of my cub?" "Grope?" He looked genuinely baffled. "Lady, I'm checking for broken bones. You took a hell of a blast." "Then ask first," she snapped, tail lashing. "My people call this invasion." The cub piped up. "Mama, don't be mean. He touched you gentle." The human coughed into his fist to hide a laugh. "Out of the mouths of babes." Her claws flexed against the rubble. "Silence, both of you. I am a warrior. I need no man's hands on me." "Sure," he said, already pulling a med kit from his belt. "But if I don't clean that cut, you'll need a grave instead. Your choice." She opened her mouth to retort, but the sting of antiseptic against her side cut off the words. She hissed, half from pain, half from the indignity. He muttered something about fox fur being harder to patch than canvas. Her cub watched with wide eyes and whispered reverently, "Papa is sewing Mama." The human froze mid-stitch and looked at her in alarm. She glared back. "Do not say it like that." The cub tilted his head. "But it's true." She groaned and covered her face. "I will never live this down." The human smirked. "Could be worse. At least I'm good with my hands." Her tail puffed, her ears flattened. "You dare!" He winked. "What?" "I meant patching wounds. What did you think?" She sputtered wordlessly. The cub giggled again. When he finally tied the last bandage, he leaned back and sighed. "There. Good as new. Well, newish. Try not to throw yourself in front of another fireball any time soon." She stiffened. "I did not throw myself." I shielded my cub. A mother's duty. The human's face softened, humor slipping into something steadier. Yeah. I saw that. Her breath caught, just for a moment. Then the cub yawned loudly, ruining the silence. Papa saved Mama. Mama saved me. We're a family now. The human laughed, ruffling the cub's ears. Kid's got the logic nailed. The mother hissed and crossed her arms over her chest. Do not encourage him. You are not. Papa, I know, he interrupted, grinning. But until someone else steps up, I guess the job's mine. Her ears twitched. Job? This is not employment. This is my life. Exactly, he said, leaning back on his heels. Which means if I'm stuck with it, you're stuck with me. The cub clapped happily, oblivious to the way her face heated. She opened her mouth to argue, but found no words. Her tail betrayed her again, wagging against the ground, and his smirk told her he noticed. She snarled, low and embarrassed. I will repay this life debt. And then you will leave. The cub shouted joyfully. Wedding! The human choked on laughter. She buried her face in her hands and groaned. The flames still burned in the distance, the war raged on, but in that small broken corner of the battlefield, the absurd comedy of survival took root. She had braced for death. Instead, she had awakened in a man's arms, with her cub calling him Papa and the human teasing her with every breath. And spirits help her, part of her tail wagged like she didn't entirely hate it. The human rummaged through his pack and tossed her something wrapped in foil. Eat. You'll need strength. She caught it reluctantly, sniffing with suspicion. What is this? Protein bar, he said. It's food. You bite it, chew it, swallow. Complicated stuff. Her ears twitched flat. It looks like compressed dirt. Yeah, and it tastes worse, he admitted, biting his own. But it keeps you alive. That's the job. The cub had already unwrapped his and was gnawing happily, crumbs sticking to his muzzle. Papa food is tasty. The mother's fur prickled. Stop calling him that. The cub grinned with crumbs on his fangs. But Mama, he feeds us. Only Papa does that. The human nearly choked on his bar, laughing. Don't look at me. Kid's logic, not mine. She tore open the foil, sniffed again, and finally took a bite. Her nose wrinkled instantly. By the moons, what vow concoction is this? Engineered nutrition, he said smugly. You're welcome. She glared. This is not food. This is punishment. Funny, he said. That's what I call your attitude. Her ears twitched, and she snapped her teeth at him. Careful, human. Insult me again and I will. Wag your tail harder? He cut in. She froze, realizing too late her tail was indeed brushing against the dirt and small betraying arcs. She yanked it against her body and hissed. It is not wagging. Sure, he said, amused. Must be the wind, huh? The cub giggled, mouth full. Mama's tail likes Papa. Her claws dug into the dirt. Spirits curse you both. He laughed, wiping his mouth. Relax, Foxy. It's called instinct. You can't help it. Do not call me Foxy, she snapped. Fine. Princess Fangs? She sputtered. That is worse. The cub clapped. I like Princess Fangs. Papa is funny. She groaned. I will not survive this. The human crouched again, checking the bandage he'd tied earlier. His hands pressed firmly against her ribs. She stiffened, heat flooding her ears. Again you touched me without asking. Making sure you're not bleeding, he said casually. What, you want me to ask every time? Yes, she snapped. Consent is sacred. He smirked. All right then. May I touch you, almighty Princess Fangs? Her ears burned. Not like that. The cub tilted his head. He should touch you. You're hurt. The human nodded. See? Kid gets it. She hissed but didn't move, torn between pride and practicality. His hands moved with surprising gentleness, and her breath caught despite herself. He glanced up at her expression and smirked. Relax. It's just first aid. You don't have to fall in love with me for it. Her fur flared. Who said anything about love? Nobody, he said with a grin. But you're blushing awfully hard for someone not thinking about it. She gasped. I am not. The cub cut in. Mama's face red. Means she likes Papa. The human laughed openly now, leaning back. Kid's ruthless. She covered her face with both hands and muttered, End my life now. The human leaned back against the wall, pulling his rifle across his lap. Not happening. I don't do funerals. Bad food, worse speeches. She peeked at him. Your weapon, it looks strange. He patted the rifle. Plasma carbine. Modified. Gets the job done. She tilted her head. A strange shape. How do you wield it with such confidence? The cub piped up instantly. Mama, don't ask him about his weapon like that. The human choked, coughing into his fist, trying not to laugh. She froze, then snarled, mortified. Cub! That is not what I meant! The cub tilted his head innocently. Then what did you mean? Her fur burned. I meant his plasma rifle, not. She clamped her jaws shut, realizing she was only making it worse. The human was red-faced with laughter now. Well, glad we cleared that up. Thought we were moving awfully fast. She groaned and buried her head against her knees. The cub kept grinning. Mama likes Papa's weapon. The human wheezed, barely holding it together. Kid, you're killing me. She muttered into her fur. Not soon enough. When the laughter finally faded, the human stretched and handed her a canteen. Drink. Hydration's important. She took it reluctantly, sniffed, then sipped. Cool water slid down her throat, easing the dryness. She sighed before she could stop herself. The cub clapped. See? Papa takes care of Mama. The human leaned back with a smirk. Yeah, that's kind of what I do. She tried to glare, but the water was too refreshing. Why? You have no obligation. He shrugged. Guess I'm just stupid like that. Can't watch someone die if I can help it. Her ears twitched. Something in her chest stirred, unwelcome but undeniable. She scowled to hide it. Stupid indeed. Thanks, sweetheart, he said cheerfully. Her fur bristled. Do not call me sweetheart. All right, Foxy. Sweetheart Foxy. She growled, tail thumping the ground. I will bite you. He leaned closer, eyes gleaming with mischief. Careful. Some humans like that. She gaped, stunned silent. The cub tilted his head. Like what? The human waved quickly. Nothing. Forget I said that. The mother slapped her hands over her face again. Spirits preserve me. The cub giggled and hugged her. Don't worry, Mama. Papa is silly. But I like him. The human smiled softly, watching them. His voice was quieter when he said, I like you too, kid. The mother peeked at him, saw the sincerity, and felt her heart stumble against her ribs. She hid it behind a snarl. We will repay this debt. And then you will leave. Sure, he said with a grin. But until then, I'm not going anywhere. The cub beamed. Good. We need Papa. The mother groaned but couldn't stop her tail from wagging again. The human noticed, smirked, and said nothing, letting her wrestle with instincts she refused to admit. The war rumbled on in the distance, but here, the battle was smaller, pride against instinct, sarcasm against sincerity, and a fox woman's furious denial against the simple charm of a stubborn human who refused to let her die. And somehow, the cub's laughter tied it all together like a promise either of them wanted to say out loud. The clan found them before dawn, eyes glowing in the firelight, ears sharp with suspicion. The mother tried to rise, but the human pushed her back down gently, muttering, Easy, Princess Fangs. Don't rip your stitches. She bared her teeth at him, but her clan only saw the posture, the closeness, the bandaged ribs beneath his hand. Their eyes widened, tails twitched, and murmurs rose. The cub bounced forward proudly. Mama found Papa! The mother nearly fainted. No! She barked, but the word caught in her throat. The elders exchanged knowing looks. One leaned on his staff and rumbled. It is done then. She has chosen. The human blinked. Chosen? Wait, hang on, what did I miss? The mother snapped. You have not been chosen. This is a mistake. A calamity. The elder nodded solemnly. Yes, the words of one who has been thoroughly claimed. The human choked on air. Claimed? Whoa, back up. Nobody claimed anybody. I just carried her out of a fire. The clan gasped. He carried her, someone whispered. Another fanned their muzzle with both paws. Carried in his arms? The elder nodded gravely. Sacred right fulfilled. The mother slapped her tail against the ground so hard sparks flew. No sacred right. He was merely intrusive. The cub grinned. Papa carried Mama, touched Mama, fed Mama, sewed Mama, and gave Mama water. The crowd erupted in approving howls. The human looked skyward in despair. Kid, you are not helping. The elder raised his staff. Then he must be tested. To prove his worth as mate and father. The human groaned. Oh great. I knew this was coming. What is it, a duel? A questionnaire? Do I need references? The mother buried her face in her hands. Spirits strike me dead. The trial began with a beast dragged into the clearing, a snarling, armored predator with jaws like plasma cutters. The elder declared. He must subdue it. The human stared. You want me to wrestle that? With what, bad language? The mother hissed. Perhaps you will finally be eaten and I will be free. The cub whispered. Papa can do it. The human sighed, pulled duct tape and an energy bar from his pack, and muttered. This is gonna be stupid. He tossed the bar to the beast. It paused, sniffed, and gulped it down. While it chewed, he leapt forward, taped its jaws shut, and climbed onto its back like a rodeo rider. The crowd gasped as he yanked its head down and tied the tape in a neat bow. The beast thrashed once, then sulked, jaws sealed. The elder raised his arms. He has triumphed! The human staggered off the beast, panting. That's not triumph, that's creative desperation. The cub ran to him, hugging his leg. Papa is strong! The mother sputtered. Strong? He tricked it with food and string. The elder stroked his beard. Clever. Endurance is next. The test dragged on for hours. Warriors collapsed one by one from exhaustion, but the human kept moving, fueled by caffeine pills and sheer stubbornness. He jogged in place, muttering insults at his own legs, refusing to stop. By dawn, only he remained standing, wild-eyed and jittery. The elder bowed. His stamina is proven. The human swayed on his feet. This isn't stamina. This is addiction to terrible coffee. The cub clapped. Papa never gives up. The mother growled. He is insane, not tireless. The final trial was announced. He must provide pleasure of the mate. The human's eyes bugged. Excuse me? Provide what now? The elder clarified. He must care for her, nourish her, prove comfort and skill. The human rubbed his face. Okay, thank God, thought you meant something else. The mother's ears burned. Something else like what? Nothing, he blurted, already digging in his pack. He set up a battered pot, poured in water, and ripped open a packet of instant noodles. Minutes later, steam rose. He handed the bowl to the mother, who sniffed suspiciously. The cub leaned in. Mama, taste it. She sipped reluctantly, then blinked. It is salty. Strange. Comforting. The clan howled in approval. He has provided pleasure. The human spat water across the fire. Stop saying it like that. The mother slammed the bowl down, fur blazing red. This is humiliation. The cub tugged her sleeve. But Mama, you smiled when you drank. She froze, realizing the cub was right. She had smiled. Just a little. Just enough. The elder thumped his staff. It is settled. The trials are complete. The human is worthy. The crowd cheered. The cub clung to his leg, chanting, "Papa! Papa! Papa!" The mother rose, trembling with fury. "I will not, cannot, accept this farce." The human raised his hands quickly. "Look, I'm flattered, I think, but I didn't sign up for a wedding. I was just trying to keep you alive." The elder nodded solemnly. "And by doing so, you have bound yourself." The human muttered, "I should have let the plasma blast finish the job." The cub beamed at him. "But then I wouldn't have a papa." The human's shoulders slumped. "Kid, you're killing me here." The mother's heart twisted painfully. She wanted to scream, to reject it all, but the cub's joy was too bright, and the human's weary, sarcastic grin too disarming. She clutched her chest, whispering under her breath, "This cannot be happening." But it was, and the clan believed it more fiercely with every breath. The fox mother who had braced for death was now, in their eyes, claimed by the man who refused to let her go. And the human, against his will, was passing every test with flying colors, one ridiculous, humiliating trial at a time. The campfire dwindled to embers, the clan settled, but no one truly slept. Whispers carried across the clearing, tails flicked, ears twitched. The human sat hunched over, rubbing the ache in his temples, muttering, "I've survived worse, but never this brand of crazy." The Vulpine mother glared at him from across the fire, clutching her cub close, though the cub wriggled free and crawled back into his lap as if it were the most natural place in the world. "Papa's warm," the cub murmured, already drifting off. The mother hissed, "Do not call him," but stopped when she saw the cub snuggled against his chest, breathing evenly. Her protest turned into a sigh, caught halfway between fury and surrender. The human stroked the cub's ears gently. "Kid, you've got no idea the paperwork you're writing me into." He caught the mother's stare and added with a lopsided smirk, "Don't worry, your secret's safe. I won't tell anyone you look at me like that." She bristled. "Like what?" "Like you're trying not to admit I'm the best bed you've had in years." Her ears shot straight up, scandalized. "You! That is not—" She searched for words, but her own cub was curled peacefully against his chest, making her outrage sound hollow. He chuckled, low and maddeningly calm. "Relax. Double meaning intended. Bed as in bedrock. Foundation. Safe place. Not, you know, the other thing." Her tail lashed. "You humans twist words like knives. And you people hear knives where I mean spoons." The elder coughed loudly, approaching with his staff. "It is custom that, once trials are passed, the union is sealed before dawn." The human froze. "Union? As in marriage? Already? I don't even know her middle name." The mother rose sharply. "There will be no sealing." The elder raised a brow. "Yet he holds your cub. He risked his life. He fed you. He endured trials." The human groaned. "For the last time, that was instant ramen, not divine nectar." The elder ignored him. "You deny what is written in tradition." The mother's claws dug into her palms. "I deny nothing. I resist misunderstanding." The human tilted his head, studying her, then murmured just loud enough for her ears, "You don't sound like you want to resist all of it." She spun on him, eyes flashing, muzzle trembling. "Stop speaking!" He leaned closer, grin mischievous. "Or what? You'll fall asleep in my arms again?" Her breath hitched. Around them, the clan stirred, some giggling, some howling in laughter, interpreting every exchange as foreplay. The mother felt heat crawl up her neck until she swore her fur would ignite. The cub stirred, mumbling half asleep. "Mama, don't yell at Papa." Then the cub tucked tighter into his chest, perfectly content. The human whispered, softer this time, "You know I didn't plan this, right? I just couldn't leave you burning in the ruins." For the first time since she had awakened in his arms, her eyes softened. "And yet you stayed when you could have left." He shrugged. "Guess I'm terrible at walking away." The elder raised his staff again. "Enough hesitation. The bond is real. Let it be spoken. Let it be sealed." The human stood slowly, cub still in his arms. He faced the clan, voice steady, half defiant, half amused. Look, I don't know your rules, but I know this. I didn't carry her out of fire to hand her back into it. She's safe with me. Always will be. The clan roared in approval. The mother stared, words caught in her throat. Safe with me. The phrase looped in her mind, tangled in memories of flames, fear, and the unbearable warmth of his chest when she thought she was dying. The elder gestured. Then kneel together. Speak vows. The human snorted. You've got the wrong guy. I'm not the vow type. The mother muttered. At least we agree on something. But then he looked at her, and something unspoken passed between them. A challenge. A dare. A strange, reckless spark. He lowered himself to one knee anyway, shifting the cub to his hip. Fine. Let's do it my way. The clan leaned forward. The mother's heart hammered. He cleared his throat. Vow number 1, I vow not to let her starve, even if all I've got is instant noodles. Vow number 2, I vow to keep patching her up every time she tries to be a martyr. Vow number 3, I vow to keep pissing her off just enough that she never gets bored. The crowd laughed, tails wagging. The cub clapped drowsily. The mother's breath came shallow, chest tight. Against her better judgment, against every wall she'd built, she lowered herself to her knees beside him. Her voice trembled, but she spoke. Then I vow to bite him if he grows too smug, to claw him if he abandons us, and to endure his insufferable cooking if it means my cub laughs again. The clan erupted in cheers, wild and approving. The elder slammed his staff down. It is sealed. The human groaned, head in his hands. Fantastic. Married by noodles and sarcasm. My parents would be so proud. The cub beamed, pressing both tiny paws against their joined hands. Mama. Papa. Together. The mother closed her eyes, fighting the heat in her chest. When she opened them again, the human was staring at her, not mocking this time, not smirking, just steady. A look that stripped away jokes and left only truth. She whispered, almost inaudible. You are trouble. He grinned faintly. Yeah. But I'm your trouble now. And with that, the night broke into laughter, howls, and wild celebration. The clan feasted, the cub slept, and the Vulpine mother, once resigned to die in fire, found herself alive in the strangest fate of all, tangled in the arms of a man who refused to let her go.